Elisa Tuiaki probably shouldn't be meeting with the media.
There's a certain shape to every coverage, every defense, whether it's a pressure or whether it's cover 2, cover 1, cover 3, quarters. There's a certain shape that a defense has, and sometimes when you're playing with guys that don't have as much experience, you lose the shape of that a little bit faster than you normally want to or would if you had experienced guys. And so I think that ended up costing us about too many big runs, felt like. But we've got to continue to just shore up tackling and just keep shape and keep working.
We got to shore up tackling and keep. I feel like he's blaming the players there. Am I wrong about that?
I feel like he flat out said we're losing because we have young guys who essentially are not in the right spot. That's what that means. So he said the young guys, we're losing shape in the defense because we have guys that are young and inexperienced, and that happens faster than you'd like it to when you have young guys on the roster. That's basically what Elisa Tuiaki is saying right there. And what I'm saying is it doesn't matter what their age or experience is. If they're on the football field, they're expected to do a job. And too often, that job is very simple and very obvious and very straightforward. So you're not solving world hunger here. You're tackling a guy who is carrying a football who weighs 215 pounds. It's you versus him. Who's going to win that battle? Let's not overcomplicate. Honest
to goodness, I really think you need to move on from Elisa Tuiaki. And I'm going to play this bite again. It's only 30 seconds, but I really, this smacks to me like he is blaming the players.
There's a certain shape to every coverage, every defense, whether it's a pressure or whether it's cover 2, cover 1, cover 3, quarters. There's a certain shape that a defense has, and sometimes when you're playing with guys that don't have as much experience, you lose the shape of that a little bit faster than you normally want to or would if you had experienced guys. And so I think that ended up costing us about too many big runs, felt like. But we've got to continue to just shore up tackling and just keep shape and keep working.
I think this is you saying they're poorly coached. Because that's what this feels like to me, and it's not personal. Elisa Tuiaki is a good dude. I have nothing bad to say about him personally. As a coach, I feel like this is scapegoating your players. And you as a coach need to do a better job getting the young players in the right spot. That's what this really comes down to. And if as a coach you can't do that, you're not going to win games. It is not at some point it's got to be about the coaches holding the players accountable. And if the players continue to be in the wrong spot, don't play the player anymore. It's that simple. Like, you have to have accountability. And in college football, accountability is losing reps. Because if you're a big-time program like BYU is, you should have depth, and I think that they do. But you can't tell me that the players are the ones who are constantly losing shape in the defense. What is this, week 8? Or something? It's November, man. We can't be talking about guys in the wrong spot anymore.
It's spring ball.
Yeah. Guys can't continuously be in the wrong spot and have that be on the player. That to me, that is a big problem. And I think that it's going to be very difficult for BYU to become bowl eligible now. It is going to be very difficult. You have a bye week, thankfully, coming up, but it's going to be very difficult for this team to win 6 games, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree.
I don't know. Boyd Lake says, BYU Sports Nation also keeps saying guys are in position. It's not the scheme. The players are simply not making plays. A month ago, that was the thing. And we'll ask Harris LaChance about it. He's coming up here in about an hour. But when you hear guys are in the wrong spot, Jake, what do you think? What does that make you think?
Yeah, I mean, it makes me think that, you are poorly coached on some level. And I also think that you're like, coaching is obviously the foundation, right? Like, a coach is going to say to a guy, hey, you got to be here. You're looking at film and you're going to say, hey, you were here instead of there and you need to be here. And, obviously they're going to go through that conversation. And so it's like, I don't know. I don't know what the disconnect is. This is the core of the issue at BYU this year. It's like, okay, not tackling well is one thing. But then if you're going to come out and say repeatedly, well, guys just aren't making plays, and then you're going to come out and say that, hey, well, these guys are young, and that's why they're not making plays. It's like, no, dude, they may be young. And being young and not making plays the way that pans out on a football field most times is like a safety being in the wrong spot. You know, like a guy who's got a lot of responsibility who's just in the wrong spot. But we're talking about like A-gap responsibility. We're talking about like asking defensive ends to cover the flat. That's a coaching thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is a coaching issue. And I if you're Tuiaki, I don't know how you save your role at this point. I don't know how it's possible.
I don't know that there is saving his role, but at some point, and I agree with Jeremy Bolton, there's going to be a mass exodus of defensive talent on this team in the offseason. And I that's really unfortunate. It really is, because I think up to a certain point, you could say, okay, well, the players were in the right spot. They just weren't executing.
Yeah.
But at what point does that become talent not being well coached? Because when you are Max Tooley, Ben Bywater, when you are Malik Moore, who's been out for a while with this broken hand, you know, when you're talented here, Gabe Summers knows how to tackle. But at some point, I just don't buy that it's all schematics. I don't. I really don't. Kanai says, I agree with you, Jake. They have a job to perform. It's like you showing up and not using your mic. To a certain extent,
yeah,
yes,
it's like
I agree with that.
You're right in perfect position.
I think it's fit, but it's probably 60-40. I think at this point it's 60% coaching, 40% talent. Because the other question I'd ask is the talent using all of their talent? Are the coaches getting the most out of every individual player on this defense?
Yeah, I mean, probably not 100%. Probably not. And
80%?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah. My thing is when I hear someone like Judy Lawley come on the show and say, we have to take better angles. We have to, as players, we have to execute better. It's hard for me to just believe that it's just on the players, because better angles, what are we not saying there? What's not being said there? Well, where's a great angle created from? Well, it's created from you being in the right spot, right? Like, if you're 5 yards too close to the line of scrimmage and a back gets behind you, let's say, you're not going to be able to take a great angle on that. You're going to have to run that guy down. If you're 5 yards too deep down the field, right? Like, it becomes more difficult to take a proper angle. So you have to be in the right spots. And so it's, I don't know, man. I just think it is a low class look to be like, yeah, these guys are in the wrong spots because they're young and inexperienced. Great, they're young and inexperienced. It's your job as a coach to bring them along. And to your point, and we've said this before on the show, this isn't spring ball anymore, man. Like, this is week 8, week 9, week 10. Like, you should be contending for a New Year's Six bowl right now, not just getting bowl eligible. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I just think you, as a coaching staff, you don't do that to your players. You don't say, well, they're young, so, that's why we're having issues. You don't say that. Like, you just have to continue to wear it. That's what your job is.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. I mean, it is, yeah. Boyd Lake's not wrong. It's an institutional mantra now. It's a problem of Jimmys and Joes, not X's and O's.
Well,
yeah, I mean, you can only blame the players for so long. Ed Morris says talent on the D-line is not there. Nothing will make your players turn against you faster than throwing them under the bus, MY Monty fan says. As a coach, you don't do that. You just sit them on the bench in favor of those who will get the job done. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Jaron Patterson says, one of the reasons I liked Bronco, at least in defense, he could squeeze all the effort and talent out of an average player. The players he got would never win him tons of games, but enough. Yeah, I think that's a real question at BYU now. Are you ever going to reach your top side, your upside, your highest potential if you come to BYU? I think that's a question, and that's a really nasty, gnarly question to ask.
I think as a quarterback you can. I think as a defensive player, that's where the struggle is. Much like at Utah, where the defense is the route to the NFL, essentially, or running backs. They put some backs in the league too. Like, as a quarterback at Utah, it's not guaranteed you're getting to the league. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think each program has their given positions that they regularly put guys in the league. And yeah, some SEC programs put guys in the league at every position. We see it all the time. But I just think BYU has a track record of putting quarterbacks in the league all the way back to in the modern day. Like, obviously Taysom Hill and there's obviously been other guys, but I don't know, man. I look at the program and I just kind of want Kalani to like grip the program in a sense and just say like, okay, we're putting an end to the nonsense. We're putting an end to the drama or the gray area in the program. Like, this is how we're going to do it, and we're going to finish this season strong. Like, I'm kind of waiting for that Kalani moment to happen.
Yeah, we'll see. I am a believer in Kalani Sitake. I am. I think maybe you have to force him to use tough love. I don't know. It just is me. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Blake Lennox says, big love to you guys from Australia. Go Jazz. Well, thank
Appreciate
you
that,
for
Blake.
joining the show. Zayman says, the only reason they don't have experience is you keep subbing them out of games.
Well,
don't even get me started with that. Barfing Chicken says, the weird thing is how Tuiaki game planned around who was in the lineup instead of who they were playing for some reason, which doesn't work on defense. I don't know how true that is. You say that, and I hadn't thought about it that way, but that makes a lot of sense. He's just frustrating. Tuiaki is frustrating. Those answers about third down, and it's frustrating. I just don't feel like kids right now on that defensive side of the ball, players, they're not kids anymore, but players on the defensive side of the ball are there's a disconnect. It's either they're not good enough or they're not getting coached enough, which comes back to the coaching. Because if you're not good enough to play major college football, should you be at BYU? Are they recruiting well enough? Are they recruiting enough of the right guy? See, I think the players are good enough.
Well, I think the belief too, I also think is a huge issue now. Well, like even if you are good enough, right? Like, if you don't believe, now you've got even bigger problems.
Yeah, that's a huge problem if you don't believe. BYU and college football on the Monty Show, presented by Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com. Again, don't take our word for it. Go to their website, interact with them on their website. They're really good guys to do business with, from Logan, Layton, Lehigh, St. George, and in Murray, Salt Lake City. They're all just really knowledgeable, good dudes. Most of those stores have full butcher shops in them as well, so you can get your meat and you can get help cutting that meat the way you want it cut. They have all the best equipment. I'm a Traeger guy, to be honest with you. I think we've talked about that a lot on the show when it comes to smokers and grills. I'm a Traeger guy. Traeger pellet grills are absolutely the best in the business, in my opinion. But you can't go wrong with Traeger, Yoder, Big Green Egg. No matter the equipment you want, Barbecue Pit Stop has it for you. Go to bbqpitstop.com. And the cool thing about their website is they have that little chat feature that you can use to ask questions. You can say, hey, I'm making a brisket. Do I need to wrap it? Do I really have to put it in towels and put it in a cooler? How long does it need to rest before I do that? Answer all those questions. They got it. Hey, what's the best pellet to make bacon? What's the best pellet to make chops or steaks? Like, they'll hook it up for you because they have all the knowledge. They know darn well how to use those smokers, how to set them up. They can help you build them. They can help you stock them. All of your rubs, seasoning, sauces, anything you need that has to do with a grill, Barbecue Pit Stop in Logan, Layton, Lehigh, St. George, and Murray has the answer for you. And by the way, who's going to be the brave guy that's going to admit you're going to smoke your turkey this year? Because I feel like deep frying has kind of been a fad that's gone now.
It's just caveman. Why go to the trouble of deep frying a turkey?
Are you an oven cooker of turkey? Well, you've never had to
as
cook
a kid.
turkey.
I mean, as a kid, yeah. And I think, most people oven cook it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, it tastes phenomenal. But I think you put a turkey on a smoker. And the cool thing, speaking of accessories, not to go too far off the trail here, but they make a rotisserie accessory for Traegers where you can put your turkey, or if you want to do a whole chicken or whatever it may be, on the rotisserie post, I guess if you want to call that, the steak that turns, and it'll spin while it smokes. It's super cool and 100% worth your time. And I think that's my favorite part, is the why behind it. Like you were talking about, hey, when do I need to put it in when do I need to put my brisket in a wrap in the cooler? Well, this is when, but then why do I need to do that? Why does that even matter?
Yes.
Like we've done briskets. We did our first brisket after we talked to them about how to do it, and it came out great.
Yeah, I think you absolutely have to. I think you absolutely have to. Okay, am I just not explaining this correctly? So many, like Jim is saying that he was at Maverick Center. Okay, all you have to do, pull up to the front door at Maverick Center where the stairs go up and there's a big hockey statue. You cannot miss it.
Yeah.
It is right in front of the arena. Yeah. Walk up the stairs and on the far right side, there's all these doors in front of the building. Hey, what's up? Oh, the Buffalo Bills fan is here. Big. Yes. I think isn't that Big Daddy Magic?
I think it is. Yes.
I think that is Big Daddy Magic. But all you have to do is walk up the front stairs, come all the way to the right, and the door is on the right.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Monty will be there. She's got the lotto tickets for you. Powerball's $1.2 billion. So you'll be able to get your Powerball ticket. You'll be able to come in and look at the studio if you like. We have a big glass front so you can see right through it. Big Daddy Magic just got his lotto ticket.
Yes.
Can you imagine? What's his name going to be if he wins Powerball?
Big Daddy Money.
Yeah. Big Daddy Stacks, I think, could be the proper nomenclature there. But, yeah, a lot of people are asking. Just pull up in front. I know it's dark out. I get it. Mrs. Monty's here. We're ready to let you in. You just pull the ticket out. It's all good. Right here, we've got Powerball tickets for you. But a lot of people talking about smoking. Josh Lovren says, we smoke a turkey and a duck hot wings for the last 4 years now. Let's go.
Let's go.
Josh says, does Barbecue Pit Stop sell meat? Meter? Hello? Meter? Meat thermometers? Yes, they do.
I can't say with 100% confidence they have the exact one you want, but I know that they have I know for a fact that they have a really good selection of different thermometers, and we got one from them that you can even set it to the type of food you're cooking. So like if you're doing fish or you're doing beef or chicken, or I think it even has one for pork as well. So it's really, they have a great selection.
Well, and by the way, the Traeger also has Wi-Fi technology.
Yeah. So
you can use the Traeger thermometer, put it in the bird, and it'll tell you what the temp of the bird and the grill is.
Super cool.
Which is amazing. M. Alvarez says, I have smoked my turkey for the last 3 years.
Let's go.
You stud. Way to go. Giggity says, smoked turkey is easily the best. I like it. Shayna Borby. If Utah want full tank, the next six-man Clarkson should not be in the rooster. Welcome to La Jordan.
Welcome to L.A., Jordan. I think that's a
La Jordan.
I think that's a Lakers reference.
No, it's not. It's La Jordan. He's the Jordan.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be Lee Jordan?
Sure.
Jordan Clarkson on LA makes them a better team. Turkey is one meat I have never liked smoked, Kurt Meyer says. Interesting. Let's see. Monty, like the movie Indecent Proposal. If someone won the billion lotto and offered $200 million for one day with Mrs. Monty, how fast would you say yes or no? Wow. I would say no, but Mrs. Monty would probably say yes. I mean, that's just, I mean, she walks in here every day and says a C word. What do you want from me?
Are people myriad?
I'm kidding. Jeremy Bolton says, Big Daddy Magic in the house. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He also says, I think my grandma on the Lakers team makes them a better team. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Cody Strickland says, I can't get a ticket due to work, but I will get one on Thursday. Hopefully it don't hit. I would rather do the 30-year payout myself. If I die before, you can have it and transfer it to my wife or kids.
Okay.
I think as far as the Powerball goes, and again, tonight is the drawing, and I have tickets for you. And I think we're about halfway through the tickets we had or something like that.
Yeah.
$1.2 billion, cash value is $567 million. If you want to take that full cash value at $567, I believe you can make it more than $1.2 billion.
Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. And that's why that's the way to go.
Yeah, give me the $567 million. And, at the end of the day, what is that? $304 million after taxes? I still maintain that I can make that $800 million. No,
I thought it was $560 after taxes.
Oh, is it really?
I think it's $560 after federal and state.